Hello everybody and welcome to Islamophobia Watch. I'm George, your host, and today I'd like to talk about the suppression of factual information relative to global jihad and the terror that it perpetrates on the free world. Now, how free our world is and how free the Western world is, it's a whole different topic of discussion. Right now, I'd like to focus on the fact that when global jihad, through its network of terror, performs its horrible acts of terror, the Western media does everything possible to suppress, sometimes to completely scrub the actual information, the source information, for example, the raw files or the actual factual truth about what happened. And I'm going to use as an example last year's attack, jihadist attack in Vienna, Austria. I had uploaded a video that I got a hold of at some point last year, right after the attack, where a security camera was showing clearly the jihadist, who was an Albanian who was living in Austria, and I'm going to talk about him a little later. But this security camera had caught the jihadist, who was dressed in a combat suit, walking down the street, and he passes by this man who's standing, just a random person on the street. He passes them by, turns around, pulls the machine gun, pulls his AK-47 and shoots him in cold blood, literally. Horrible. Just a horrible thing. And what happens is when you see something like this, without any media commentary, without anything, just a raw file of this terrorist execution, most normal people are disgusted. They are revolted by this. And what happens is if we're allowed the freedom to actually view this information, to look at the real face of jihad, most normal people would build resistance against it, and they would demand that our politicians do something about it. And the media knows that. The media cabal, together with corrupt government institutions, they know that if they allow us to research Islam and to see it for what it is, without any cosmetic whitewashing, without any academic whitewashing. If you look at curricula in American universities, and I've looked at those curricula that talk about Islam, Islamic history, it's absolutely whitewashed. Very, very few courses actually teach the full truth about Islamic history, the history of jihad. The way they teach it is just through the lens of Western academics who have their own fancy ideas about what really happened. Rarely do you find academic material that actually presents jihad for what it is. It's a 1400-year campaign, bloody campaign against mankind. The genocide in Europe and the genocide in Africa and the genocide in India that Islam has perpetrated on mankind is absolutely horrendous. Now, we don't know the exact number, but anywhere between 200 and 300 million people have been killed. Now, we know that in India alone, over the 1,000-year period that Muslims waged jihad on India, they continue actually to do that. We know that India alone, 400 million people have been slaughtered in that time period. And so we have this scrubbing going on. We have this purge of documentary information and documentary evidence going on to this day. And so if you go online, and if you want to learn about the jihadist attack in Vienna in 2020, you're going to find mostly big media and big tech censored information out there that doesn't really talk about a jihadist. It talks about a lone gunman, right? It talks about like if it's just a random crazy person who went out killing people. And this is absolutely pathetic. For example, on YouTube, if you perform a search on YouTube and you put jihadist attack Vienna or Vienna jihadist attack, okay, first of all, they call it terror. They don't want to call it jihadist, right? They call it terror. They call it terror attack. But if you put down Vienna jihadist attack 2020 or whatever, you're going to find all these big media, BBC and ABC and Al Jazeera. And so YouTube actually, what they do is they scrub the narrative of independent commentary. They suppress anything and anyone that's not part of the big media. And you're going to have to scroll down a long time to find out the first headline that contains the word jihad, okay? And actually, when you search for Vienna jihadist attack, at least on my end, this is what's coming up, you have all these official large corporations, media organizations, right? It's not until you get to yours truly, and my post that you actually find my headline is correct. Jihadist attack, right? So you have to scroll down past all these official sources. And what does that do? So for normal people, when they want to make up their mind about something, when they want to research a topic, could be a student in school, could be just anybody. And let's just say they're like, hey, let me find out what's going on here with this jihad in Europe. They're not going to be able to find, using big media and big tech, they're not going to be able to connect the dots. They're not going to be able to get to the source material to learn about these attacks and to figure out, oh, so we're under attack. It's jihad. This is absolutely crazy. And it explains why so many people are clueless, because the narrative, the false narrative, Islam is a religion of peace. It really doesn't teach that. Jihadists are jihadis, or these are terrorists. Anybody's a terrorist. Anybody could be a terrorist. Never mind that we don't hear about Christian terrorists going around shooting people up, Jewish terrorists going around shooting people up. We don't hear about that. We hear all the time about concentrated. Actually, we don't even hear about that. You know, if you go to the religionofpeace.com, you're going to find out the true reporting that should be done by our media, because the religionofpeace.com has been reporting for now 30 years on the daily and monthly count of bodies dropped by jihadis around the world. Now, you're not going to hear this on the news, because if every day on the news they had, oh, by the way, today a jihadist in such and such country killed so many people, and the next day, then you would realize what the hell is going on. These people are killing someone every single day, and they are. But that's being suppressed. So it's up to us to develop the platforms and the channels for us to report on these developments, for us to do some reporting on, to document what's going on and to make it available online. And actually, this is going to boil down to using search engines like Presearch, for example. Now, Presearch is a new search engine that's come out that will allow you to search the internet without interference from big tech. And so we are literally in the battle against these gigantic corporations and corrupt government that's providing cover to jihadists and people like myself and others online who are fighting this whole censorship. What we're doing is we're trying to document the factual information so we can make it available for people who want to make up their own mind to find out the truth about jihad. Follow me on Gab, BitChute, if Parler is coming up, on Parler as well, Telegram, all these channels, Islamophobia Watch, everywhere, it's the same. I look forward to hearing from you. Drop me your comments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on suppression, the suppression campaign against information and the truth about Islam.